Well, at the end of day 2 of Just Eat Weber Cup, there is just 1 point in it, and it's Europe who lead 11-10. Their captain, Dominic Barrett, is with me now. Dom, what an evening session for you just now.
Much better, yeah, much better. This is what we came here to do. Every Weber Cup we've bowled, my 10th now, they've all been different. They've all had a different dynamic, different opposition, different teammates, different way it pans out, everything. But what I do notice is you have to play your way into the event. And that's exactly what we've done. You know, we're firing finally, we're all bowling well. Jesper's struggling with carry, and if, you know, Jesper's the guy we have to try and help out a little bit more, then you know we're in a good spot.
And heading into the final day of Just Eat Weber Cup, is this when the experience that Europe have got in this competition can really play an advantage for you?
I think you saw that today. I think, you know, even from today, you saw that this morning session, the afternoon session, we weren't really right there. And yet we were only another point behind that session, so we're 2 down. This session, you saw exactly what we've got, exactly how good we can bowl. We almost won that last match with Martin, but that's what we've got to do. We've got to bowl well the whole game, from start to finish, make sure that they have to bowl a little bit better than us if they want to win. And that's what Sean did in the last game. And if we do that every time, we know that we're going to be right there.
There's always a lot of talk at the Just Eat Weber Cup about lane patterns and the oil patterns. That was USA's pattern that you bowled so well on tonight. Are you ready for whatever they throw at you tomorrow?
Well, we get to pick tomorrow, but it's this lane. This lane is so unique in so many ways. And it gets purpose-built, and it gets purpose-built a very similar way every year. So we know what this lane plays like, more than what the pattern's on it. I mean, we picked the pattern that we really like earlier, and we didn't really do that well on it. But it wasn't really a pattern that we really like, it's just a pattern we've had success on. And it plays different this year than it did last year, and day to day, the more it gets cleaned, the more we bowl on it. There's so many different variables. It's only about 27 mil. So like a shot of people down the bar, that's basically what we put on a 60-foot lane. And the humidity, the heat that we're experiencing right now, the lights, has way more effect than the pattern that we put down, I believe. So you just have to go out there, and if you start throwing really good shots and you have good ball reaction, that's what we look at the most, is our ball reaction. We have like a Specto that are here, which is a new software that the guys have that's on the lane, and it can tell us distances where our balls hook. That sort of feedback is way more important than what pattern we're bowling on. And we've been looking at that a little bit, and I think when we had the chat this afternoon, where we actually got together, that's what we were talking about. We were talking about distances. We were talking about how far our ball is going up the lane compared to the oppositions. They had way better ball reaction than us. And then we figured it out, we changed ours. We had a good chat about it, you know, pretty in depth. We wanted to really get into why they're beating us and we're not playing very well. That's what we wanted to know, why aren't we playing well? And it's not really always physical. It's a lot to do with ball reaction. So we figured that out a little bit. We came back to the drawing board, if you like, and we tried to use what we've learned in previous years to find a way, not to get momentum going. It's nothing. Actually, this is the first probably Weber Cup where momentum isn't really there. It was actually to find good ball reaction, and that's what we started to find between Martin, Stu, and myself. And I kind of led on the fresh a little bit. I like my bowling ball reaction was pretty good on the fresh. Those guys like to see it a little bit more transitioned, and that's exactly how we won that session 5-2.
You're going to have to win some sessions tomorrow. You know a lot about the final day at the Weber Cup. What's going to be the key on Sunday?
Well, this is the first Saturday night I felt this was like a Sunday. This already felt like Sunday tonight. But that's just a credit to the US team. That's a credit to, they've come out firing with a few younger guys. They're great competitors. And we've felt the pressure the whole way through, and you always do when you get on this lane. It's so unique, it's so different. But especially tonight, we knew how important tonight was. And I think the Americans did too, even though they're not as experienced as we are. But you know, if we could have got that last game too, that would have been icing on the cake, but we're more than happy with how that session went. We played great.
Well, Dom, thank you very much for joining us. And one of Dom's teammates who had a lot of success on day 2 was Stuart Williams, winning both of his singles matches. And I caught up with him a little bit earlier this evening. Stu, you seem to be getting fairly frustrated during that doubles match with Martin earlier today, but since then 2 really important singles wins for Team Europe from you.
Yeah, the doubles match with Martin, I felt like Martin started with a strike, and then I actually put him in trouble by, I missed like three times in a row. So like Martin was like half a game later before he threw another shot. And then in that doubles format, if you get behind, it's really hard to come back because the other guy who isn't striking doesn't get to throw any strike shots, so that makes it really difficult to suddenly make a good guess and start striking again. So, yeah, I felt like I put Martin in trouble, and I didn't really give us an opportunity to win. So, yeah, it was pretty bad.
We saw probably both ends of the spectrum today from you. You're quite an emotional player out on the lane. Do you feel yourself and the Weber Cup go hand in hand?
Yeah, I try to. I mean, I try to put on a good show for everybody, and I also, you know, I try to be that fire for the team and like get everybody going. And you know, I feel like today I've won a couple of pretty important games at good times, and it's helping us out so far.
Going into tomorrow's final day, do you feel your form's right where you want it to be right now?
So far, I mean, yeah, I mean, I was pretty poorly. I didn't feel like I bowled very well the first day, and then of course you had that doubles match. So yeah, the last 2 games I felt like I've got comfortable. Dominic, you know, he came and he explained to us what we needed to be doing, and he'd been watching some of the Specto stuff that we've got here that's really cool, and he'd also been watching a little bit of the other matches and what was working and what wasn't, and he just came down and said to me and Martin, look, you can't do this, you need to do this, and there isn't really a middle ground. It's this is good and that's bad and that's it.
And so far it's been quite nip and tuck with this year's Weber Cup. Do you get the sense it's going to go right down to the wire? Yeah,
definitely. I mean, they're functioning really well as a team. You know, that they've got 4 great players. I mean, it's pretty unusual for it not to be close. If you look over Weber Cup history, there's probably 6 or 8 blowouts, and 4 of them have happened in the last 8 years. But over the time, it's always been like, you know, 2 or 3 points here or there. So I think we're all expecting to be bowling on Sunday, you know, late Sunday night.
Well, I've got the USA captain with me now, Sean Rash. And Sean, just on a personal note, how big was that last point for you there?
Well, it keeps them close. Nobody ever likes to be behind. You know, we've been up 1, we've been up 2, we've been up 3. It's been even. They finally got some momentum there and got up a couple points. And it's always nice to win the match, the last game of the match in the session. So the guys are happy, I'm happy, and we're moving on to tomorrow.
Are you already thinking about your selections for tomorrow?
I will be in about 3 minutes.
But tonight, what's the plan?
Well, apparently we're going to go to KFC. We're going to have Let's Eat do it for us, and you know, it worked pretty well for them. Those guys, they won 7 out of 10 points or whatever it was in a row, 7 out of 9, and they bowled really well today. So maybe it'll be our good luck if we had some chicken too.
There is still only 1 point in it. Are you pleased with how your guys played tonight and where their game is at the moment?
Absolutely. You know, the one shot in the Baker tonight that Marshall Big Ford really kind of changed things, because we would have been up 3 there, and it really gave them some life. You know, they went on to win a couple of points after that. That kind of changed things, I think, in this session. That was kind of the shot that I think all of us are going to remember more than anything, even with me winning. That's the one that kind of tiptoed them the right way. But 11 to 10, got, I don't even know how many matches tomorrow, a lot, so we're going to have some fun.
So you're ready for a long Sunday here at the Weber Cup?
Well, that was the plan. You know, I'm supposed to, this is funny enough, I'm actually, Dom and I are flying to to Germany on Monday for a couple clinics. And he's like, hey, you know, if one of us win early, we're going to drive home Sunday night. And I was like, I don't really want to drive home Sunday night. I want to make you drive Monday. So I'm going to make him stay tomorrow night.
Well, that's all we've got time for at day 2 at Just Eat Weber Cup. Join us again tomorrow for what's sure to be an exciting final day here in Barnsley. Head to webercup.com for all the international broadcast details and hashtag Weber Cup on social media. We'd love to hear from you.